This is not going to be a super long, technical, in-depth review of these because I've already done that, and you can go see those reviews. I'll put my links up here so that you can click each one of them, open them up in a new window. But I'm going to give you a rundown of both of these because these are two of my very favorite sets of headphones for under $200. The Custom One Pros right now come right at $200 depending on where you're getting it from. I think Amazon has them for $199. The M50s are all over the place. You can find them anywhere from $125 to $160 depending on, you know, whether there are any sales going on, the version that you have, whether it's a coiled cable, straight cable. So there's a range there on those. Now, I will tell you, there's some things about the M50s that I like, and there's some things about the Custom One Pros I like. The M50s, I believe, are a 38 ohm set of headphones, and I should have the specs with me right now, but I don't. But I believe these are 38 ohms. These are 16 ohms. And honestly, the M50s actually edge them out as far as power handling and sensitivity. So my iPhone will actually drive the M50s just ever so slightly louder than the Custom One Pros, all things equal. And by that I mean if you have the bass port set on these to where it's the same bass on these. Now, that's where the things get interesting. First, let's talk about the build on these. These, if you need a set of headphones that are a little bit easier to travel with, the M50s might be what you're looking for, as they do collapse down. The Custom One Pros do not. This is how you have to carry them around. As far as similarities, both of them have leather ear pads. I found that I kind of like the Custom One Pros ones a little bit better because they're a stiffer set of leather. Basically, the only difference to me was the Custom One Pros didn't seem to get my ears as hot. The M50s, they would warm up my ears a little bit more. But the clamping pressure on the M50s was lighter than on the Custom One Pros, and that might be because I've had my M50s longer and I use them more than I have the Custom One Pros. So as far as the build quality and everything, that's kind of where it's at with those. But nothing really negative about either one, just, you know, things to be aware of. Now let's get into the sound. These both have very, very similar sound, guys. I mean, it's very hard to distinguish between the two. If I set the bass ports on the Custom One Pros to about 1.5 open, then it sounds very similar to the M50s. And that's from bass to mid-range to treble. The M50s are slightly more detailed in the upper mid-range to the treble area. And that's where you get a lot of airy sound and almost like an open, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a presence type area. The M50s are a little bit more detailed there. Otherwise, these are very similar sounding headphones. The mids are slightly recessed on both, which I do like personally because when I'm listening to female vocalists that can hit those high chords and they can hit them powerfully, Christina Aguilera, Rebecca Ferguson, those type of people, it has a tendency to be almost a little hard to listen to. Like you have to turn down the volume to be able to handle that. Well, with these, you can listen pretty loud and get that beautiful sound out of those vocalists that I personally enjoy. So again, very similar sound on both of these. Now, the one thing that I do like about the Custom One Pros is if you want to crank up your bass, all you got to do is turn up those, open up a couple of those bass ports and you're rocking. If you want the same with the M50s, I think the M50s might have a tad more detail in the bass, and they might be just a touch tighter. So, but if you want that out of the M50s, you're gonna have to EQ that with either like an external amplifier, or if you have software on a computer where you can EQ it. Either which way, both will produce similar type sound, but out of the box, the Custom One Pros will do it without any additional equipment or any software or anything like that. So that's definitely a thumbs up for it. If you have high quality recordings and you love listening to extremely detailed music and you have like FLACs or uncompressed music, the M50s will do a remarkable job and will get you in that music. Because the Custom One Pros, like I said, are just slightly less detailed in the mids and the highs, they're actually a little bit more forgiving if you're listening to compressed music of any type. If you're a Pandora listener, which notoriously I'm not a big fan of, but if you have Moog, which does usually 320 kilobits, or if you're using Spotify, where they've upgraded a lot of their music to 320, then these will be a little bit more forgiving. They sound great in the M50s, but if you're sensitive to picking out all those things that don't just sound perfect, then these might be the way to go. Again, either one of these sets of headphones are fantastic, guys. Oh, another thing to note about the build quality, the Custom One Pro comes with a replaceable cable. So if anything ever happens to that, you pop it out, you get a new one, you put it back in. The M50 out of the box does not. It's hardwired. Now, there are companies out there, I think one of them is called soundprofessionals.com, where they will retrofit a replaceable cable, but you're looking at another $30. So if you do that, let's say that you get the $160 set of these, and then you have to get the retrofit cable, you're now at $190, and you're basically picking between the two. If somebody asked me which one of these to get, I would have a really hard time telling you exactly which one I'd go for. I really love the bass capabilities with the bass port on these. I love the entire sound and overall package of these. I love collapsing them down. I actually like the extra detail in the highs and the mids. So if anybody were to give me a set of these, I'd be happy with these for years and years to come, and I would never complain. Asking which one I want, I would basically say, what type of music do you listen to? If you are all over the board genre-wise like I am, and you don't have an external amp, any kind of portable amp or anything, I'd probably say get the Custom One Pros. If you plan on getting an amp, or if you have a lot of external sound equipment, or you do any kind of mix downs or anything, I might say go for the M50s, because they are slightly more detailed in the bass and the mids and the highs. Not by much, but just enough to where maybe it's worth having that if you were having to do any kind of real mastering or studio mixing or anything like that. So again, both fantastic products. I can't tell you which one's better than the other, because they both sound incredible, and it really boils down to what you want. Again, this has been Alan with HeadphoneReviewHQ.com. I hope you found this review helpful, or this comparison helpful, between these two of my very favorite sets of headphones, especially under $200. So again, please leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the forum below, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. And check me out on Facebook, like me on Facebook, and check me out on Twitter. Hit me up in one of the two places, drop me a message and let me know, hey, I'm here, update this, because maybe you want to find out information in between what I'm doing, like what the next review is that I'm working on. So